Yeah, to everyone, Kelvin here. Welcome to episode 40 of the Res Metal Podcast. On this episode, I was lucky enough to talk with Matthias King of the Navajo one-man black metal project, IISNAAHI. It was a really cool talk I had. We were able to talk about the background and formation of IISNAAHI and the the influences, especially Navajo language and culture. We also talk about the creative and recording process. If you're not familiar with IISNAAHI, it's like I said, a Navajo one-man black metal project based out of New Mexico and formed in 2018. There are 3 albums and 4 EPs available to stream on the popular streaming services like Spotify, iTunes, and YouTube. And just recently, IISNAAHI released a collection of cover songs. I'm going to go ahead and play a quick clip off that. And then right after that, play the interview. So check out this cover of the AFI song, Girls Not Gray. All right, check it out. All right, everyone. I'm with Matt from IISNAAHI. I'm very thankful to talk with him on this episode. I'm going to go ahead and let Matt introduce himself for all the listeners.
Okay. Hello, Yate. Matthias King, Yinshe, Chedeskizi Nishle, Itzaslane, Litzaslane, Bashachin, no, Kiani, Dashachedo, Ashin, Dashanella. Shamae, Mesalago, Holye. I am a IISNAAHI, and I currently reside in New Mexico. And
Right.
glad to be here.
All right. Yeah, I've been, I actually, just kind of picked up on your music. I was, following the metal cave zine. They have some social media content, and they have a YouTube channel, and they uploaded your music on their YouTube channel, and that's kind of how I came across. So I want to say this was last year. But how long have you played music or been a part of music, Matt?
I've been playing music since, let's see, I think towards the end of middle school, probably like my freshman year of high school, maybe. And as far as band goes, I joined my first band in high school because like my friend was in the band, so he asked me if I could play, if I knew any instruments, and I was like, I play with some guitar, and ended up joining his band.
Yeah.
And
What
how it
instrument
all
did you
started.
what instrument did you start out with?
Um, I started off with guitar, just like playing cover songs, starting off with the basics. Yeah, first it was guitar, and then eventually it led down to doing vocals. I started doing that as well when I joined my friend's band, kind of doing like backup vocals, or like switching vocals between me and the main singer, or like back and forth kind of thing.
Yeah. And then what,
Um,
what how many bands or kind of like what was your progression towards the type of from when you started music to the type of music you play now?
so the first band that I joined in high school was like a black metal band. So that's pretty much where I started, from that band. After they were like a year older than me, and so they graduated, went off their separate ways. And I believe during the summer, me and my friend, oh sorry, like started our own thing, or it was mainly like his band, but I just joined, like rhythm guitar and vocals here and there. But it was mainly his band, and then he moved out of the res. And my final year in high school, my senior year, I started my first solo act as King, or yeah, King. King was like the first solo act that I ever like started from 2007 or not 2007, 2010. Made a few albums up until 2014. Um, then after that, I just, kind of just like, that mindset, like I'm not going anywhere with this, because it's black metal. At the time, it was like pretty underground. It wasn't as big as it was now, and yeah, not really many people were like buying into it. They were like mostly into like the metalcore, deathcore, screamo kind of thing. So I just kind of laid off the music for a couple of years. Like I honestly, like 4 years, I believe. I just didn't really like uh, pick up music until 2018. I was like, I'll just give it another shot. I'm not gonna really worry what people are into, what they're not into. If they like it, they like it. And that was the debut of my band and my first album. So, and here I am now.
Awesome. Just kind of going back a little bit. Whereabouts did you grow up as far as your background?
I sorry, I grew up in Sanders, Arizona, like a little reservation town. Uh, Went to like a how would you say, like a Billigana school.
Hmm.
Yeah, just you know learning or going to like that school, kind of like away from like the res. It was like up until I went back to like the school on the res during my junior year, I believe. So, and that's like when the whole music thing kind of like kicked into effect. Because like at the old Billigana school I was at, there wasn't really anybody that was like into like metal or anything like that. Uh, not including us, like like the native kids that went to school there, from Sanders. So yeah, there was like some Sanders kids that went to school at that other Billigana school than the reservation school that was there. So,
Yeah, cool.
yeah, after going to school from there, I went back to my res school. I kind of like forgot like, like my own roots in a way, like, you know, like the way of living, the teachings and all that. So it was kind of like a good reset, I guess, going back to the res school. I mean, seeing how we all like uh, growing up, or like when like we get affected by like the drugs, alcohol, and all that stuff. And then seeing it like comparing it to a res school to like a Billigana school. I mean, you don't really. I mean, there's like a difference. Like how do I say it? Like I guess it affected us more because how we're like there's like not much to do over there, but
Yeah,
to just
yeah.
hang
I
out parties and
definitely
all that stuff.
can relate to that now. Just especially
Yeah,
during the pandemic, it's just people are
yeah,
staying home and just not much to do out here in the res.
yeah. It's kind of like pretty sad just thinking about it, like overall, and how like jobs there too. Like there's not really much jobs in the res these days as well. Oh, and yeah, how like this whole pandemic is kind of like affecting everything. It's pretty nuts.
Yeah. With your current music that you play, I see that a lot of your songs and albums, they, have Navajo titles. I was wondering how you're able to, you know, use the Navajo language. Kind of like how does that play a role, like with you now, and versus when you were growing up? Was it something that you had like where did you have family members who spoke Navajo and
Oh yeah, yeah. My parents, uncles, aunts, everybody like the elders. They all spoke Navajo, and as kids, they're like, how it goes. They're like, yeah, you guys need to learn your language and all that. And then when you ask, they're like, they, in a way, they like turn the other cheek. But like, except for like my mom, she tried teaching me. So here and there, I would kind of like pick up what she would say, just like kind of understand some parts. And when I first started my whole earlier band, it was mostly all English, I believe. Um, and the like, let's see, the first time I used the Navajo word was like with my debut album, Night Walker. Yeah, I just use like Nightwalker in Navajo. So I was like, then after that, I was like, maybe this next album I'll try to do like some you know incorporate some Navajo language into it because I remember this band Astroth. I remember they had like I think one or two songs in Navajo if I recall from their CD Darkness and Beyond if I remember.
yeah, it's a
What?
badass
Yeah,
album.
yeah. I remember listening to that shit like a lot a lot in like back in high school, and I was like it's crazy. Like the first time I ever heard like a native band, especially like singing in Navajo, and like I thought it was pretty cool. Like it's still cool at the time. I'm not sure if they were the first or if they weren't, but I mean, in a sense, yeah. After that, that kind of like motivated me. I was like, I should do that too. you know, like I figured it would be pretty cool, and also like I also had my mother like help me translate lyrics, my lyrics into Navajo. So I would kind of have to like make my lyrics a little simpler than what I intended, like the whole big words and stuff. So I had to like try to simplify as much as possible. Yeah, and I was pretty horrible at trying to like translate the Navajo or the English to Navajo. So I was like so she would end up helping me. Uh, so I thought it was pretty cool. Like also kind of like having my mom help me out with the band stuff as well. So I mean, it was cool like parent and son kind of experience, you know.
Yeah, that, that's really cool. I can relate somewhat. I used to take Navajo classes, like in high school.
Oh
I
yeah,
went to high school in Flagstaff High School, and I remember like my homework assignments. Like I would like call my mom, and I would like ask her to like translate from English to Navajo, and then over the phone, and then I would try my best to like spell out like what like the pronunciation of certain words. But no, that's really cool that you're able to
yeah,
do that with your music.
yeah. I mean, like I would try to write something, but you're like, nah, you're writing something completely different. It's like, oh, yeah. There are like some funny moments like that too, you know. Like, but I mean, it's pretty cool. Like, not like I haven't really like I don't really know like if some artists kind of have like the parents help them out with such with their music, other than like supporting and stuff, like actually helping them out. I mean, honestly, there's like nothing wrong with that at all. I mean, especially with Navajo. I mean, yeah, I mean it's pretty hard. Like, yeah,
Yeah,
like just the whole translation in general. Yeah, so during the second album, I just thought of that. Then I was kind of like my whole like also doing like some songs in Navajo. Like, currently, like the whole lyrics in Navajo, which was like pretty hard to do. I mean, it's just screaming in general, but like trying to do that in Navajo was like it's pretty challenging, but it was also pretty fun to do. And I kind of like was hoping to like encourage more like native bands, artists, like if I can do it too, or if Ashraf and me and like other if you guys if we can incorporate our language into our music, I think it would like kind of set the scales a little high, within the whole indigenous metal. I mean, like,
yeah, yeah. No, it's cool. I think you're probably one of the few that I know of who writes whole songs in a native language. So that's really cool. I'm sure there's others, but I don't know off the top of my head.
yeah.
Going back to the formation of IISNAAHI, what like how did you decide to just kind of do it as a one man project?
Um, for the most part, I mean, I didn't really have like uh, relatives or friends that were like that that like mainly played music. I mean, I had a couple friends that played music, but they were like kind of far from where I lived. And then also like my brother who just from my previous band, he was out of state or out of like miles away, doing his own thing, or like friends, doing their own thing. And I guess music was like 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 I mean they love music, but like it wasn't like their top priority, I guess, so to speak. So I was like, since I have nobody, I might as well just do everything myself. Because with that after my first band disbanded, uh, the band I joined the band I joined was Satanic Havoc. It was just me and my brother, or my best friend, but brother. I just call him brother. But yeah, he was kind of showing me how to do everything, because when I joined his band, he already had like all these demos, like 3 demos and everything. I was like, what the, like that's crazy. And then like seeing him do his music, do his work, like the drum machine kind of thing, adding bass, then his guitar, then him doing vocals. So that pretty much inspired me to like do it, like. So I kind of like just watched him, asked him like, how'd you do this? How'd you do that? Then he would like give me like a those old basic recording wave pad thing. So he gave me that, and then it was pretty much like how do you say, kind of like a teacher student kind of thing. So pretty much I just learned it from my brother, and after that, after just like starting music again, I was like, I'll just continue being a one man until eventually, there comes a time where I'll be playing shows in the future. Either there'll be like permanent members or just fill-ins for live performances. So,
Cool.
That's about it, really.
Yeah. You mentioned Ashtaroth was a big inspiration to you. What were some other music that you were listening to at the time you started IISNAAHI? Like what were some other like bands or could be music or non-music inspirations for you at that time?
Let's see. At that time, music-wise, I believe it was like mainly the big black metal or death metal bands like Behemoth, Belphegor, Children of Bodom, Cradle of Filth, Carpathian Force, like Dimmy Borgir. And just like those like black metal bands, Mayhem. As for non-musical, I just kind of wanted to do something different at the time. Like, I mean, not entirely different, but I remember Ashraw being like a black metal band there, and I was like, I really liked the sound and how the whole black metal like influence was, and I was like, hey, sounds pretty cool. I should try it. After then, I just been then with the guitars. Eventually, like after doing like covers and whatnot, you start to like make up your own riffs and whatnot. So I started like playing or like doing cover songs of black metal bands and making my own stuff. And yeah, so that's pretty much that. And also, again, my brother, major influence. So
Nice. I have to admit myself, I'm not fluent in Navajo. I mean, I try to learn, but it's hard. I mean, it's probably one of the hardest languages to pick up. But can you kind of talk about the meaning of the name of your project IISNAAHI to the non-native listeners?
For the non-native listeners, IISNAAHI, honestly, the original name was going to be Destroyer. So that I was like, I'll just name my new project, Destroyer. And then it occurred to me, I was like, what if I name it Navajo, So I was asking my mom, like, hey, is there such a word for destroyer? Because I have a little dictionary or dictionaries, and I was like, I can't find the word, or the only one that's kind of similar to it is like to be broken or whatnot. So I guess sort of like we were like trying to figure out like what's like the closest word to that destroyer, and eventually like my mom was like, the best that I could think of would be IISNAAHI. So I was like, what? I was like, and she would like send me a voice recording, like, how to say it, how to pronounce it and everything. So I was like, oh, and spelling it as well. So then I had to like, triple check to make sure, like, is this like, how to say it and how you spell it. And yeah, that was how I got the name. Uh, and like for the meaning, I was like, the whole new clean slate. We're gonna forget about the past. You know, like uh, I would just say destroy. Quote unquote my past. Like I wouldn't want to say failures, but like the trials, I guess. Start a whole new thing. Whatever I was talking about then, um, you know, kind of like just talk about now. What uh what things I want to like talk about, like the serious or mainly serious like things, like no more kind of like mature, pretty much. Like how I guess yeah, you kind of be like more mature about it. Just destroy all that all that childish stuff,
Hmm.
and just be more serious about my work from that point on.
Okay, cool. Yeah, no, that's really cool that you're able to, you know, get that translation with the help of your family, and then on top of that, there's that other meaning of starting over, and then kind of going off of like you know now that you have this project IISNAAHI, for the listeners, there's 3 albums and 4 EPs that you can check out on Spotify, YouTube. I saw that a lot of the song titles are in Navajo. Some of the lyrics are in Navajo. But what kind of things are you like writing about? When you do a song in Navajo, like if you can explain, especially for like non-native listeners who find your music.
Let's see. Um, the second track or the first song after the intro on the second album, that was we are Dene, or we are Navajo, we are native. That one I was mainly touching up on like the English translation. Uh, I was touching up on like just like our struggles of being native, like living in the reservation, living in a world of colonization. How we gotta like you know strive through our triumphs. You know, uh, like the poverty, depression. Survival, the harsh winters, the cold, all that. Just to get water, kind of like protect our land, women, children. You know, everything that's held dear and sacred to us from all the, how would you say, the evil contaminations of all this um, evil things. And
Yeah.
how like the women, especially the women, are being missing, and how we're afraid. We gotta like look behind our backs. We're getting like I would want like, how do I say this? Like with just that, thinking of that, going through that, our morale is becoming weaker by the day. Each time that happens, the addictions, the suicides, it's all there, but not many like people talk about it really, and how like we're there fighting all that, but at the same time we gotta how would you say, remember our teachings from that are being passed down, our beliefs, that as well, whether you're traditional or not. How the Mother Earth and Father Sky, all that, are pretty much our way of living. Soon, like eventually, we will rise up again as warriors of Mother and Father. And I do
Yes.
say that a lot, with capital Mother and capital Father, have them saying Mother Earth, Father Sky. So just
Yeah.
something out there.
Yeah, that's awesome. Checking out your music, the the thing to me that stood out the most are the first track on the second album, the first track on the third album, the Native American church drum, like that right there, that really just blew me away. I don't know, I was just really like excited, and I was like, man, that's so cool. It's like probably the first time I've heard that used in like metal music, and to me, I thought it was amazing. I get chills every time I hear that. Like,
Yeah,
what
thank you.
inspired you to use that? The openings for the first tracks on the second and third album.
Oh, back. We're gonna backtrack to my old project. I remember using that as an intro one time. I remember it was raining and we didn't really have like anything like like high tech to like record or like download what do you call them, samples. And honestly, all I recorded my music then was just my with that WavePad software and I'm sorry, a Rock Band microphone. So, and I remember it was raining one time, and I was like, oh crap, let me trying to turn on the laptop, hurry up and load up my recording, hook up the microphone, and place it out like toward the window. And it was raining, and it was like lightning or thunder in the back. So I remember doing that, and then I saved that file, and then I believe there was like a rattler in my dad's room. So I was like, hey, maybe I should use this rattle, make it like as a cool intro, like do some, what do you call it, some subliminal kind of crap, like record something and then put it backwards, those backward recordings. So I was like, I did that, and I thought it sounded pretty cool with the rattle. I didn't have no drum or nothing, so it was just that. Started off with the rattle, and then as for the present intros, I remember I was trying to look for some like some native like drumming with the rattling, but I didn't want to get copyrighted or anything. So I was like, or like I couldn't really find anything. So I remember my friend, he's like his dad used to had this old I think Winnebago album he kind of did. So I was like, hey, do you still have that? His NAC album songs. So he ended up, like giving me the whole album. So and then I was just listening to it, like, damn, like maybe I should try this, see what I can do. So yeah, and that's how it became the intro. I just took like a little clip of the just the drumming. I try to snip like a little bit of the drumming and the rattle, playing.
Yeah,
And
it's really
I think
cool.
they
I
used one
when I
of
first heard it, dude, I got so pumped up. I was like, man, this is so cool. It really kind of brings together like um, a lot of not a lot of people grow up around Native American church, but the ones that do, it really kind of
yeah,
bridges that gap between
yeah,
what we're taught growing up, and then what we do, what we're drawn to as far as like heavy metal music. So I just thought it was really cool, and yeah, I really do dig it. It's really awesome.
oh yeah. Thank you.
And then have you like what's been the response like for your music? Like, have you gotten any like responses from like other tribes or like any international like listeners or like journalists or any press? Have you, or what's been the response like since you've started making music?
Uh, like not really anything, to be honest. But I mean, there's some surprisingly there's a few like people internationally that kind of reached out to me like, hey, this is I found your band, it sounds pretty cool. I mean, they're like pretty drawn to it and stuff. So that was like pretty cool. And then like nationally, uh, nothing that I know of. I mean, a few comments like on my YouTube here and there, like saying like they dig it, and then obviously your friends and family. So that's about it.
Yeah. And I know a lot of your stuff is available to stream like on Spotify and YouTube, but have you released any of your music on any like physical format, like tape or CD or record?
Let's see. I think the first two albums, I believe. I just I kind of did like a physical copies. Uh, yeah, and then I ended up doing like the adding the Death to the Tyrant EP with the first album, and the second album was this separate. And also with those albums, I kind of released like cover songs. So like if you got the physical copies, you would also get like these cover songs that I did, and yeah, just like a little like exclusive kind of thing.
Yeah.
But
Did you kind of do it yourself, like as a self release, or did any like any like small like record label like release your music as a physical format?
it was just self-release. I had to go to the store, buy all that stuff, learn how to do all the like how to do all that. So it was kind of like a great value kind of thing.
Cool.
But it was pretty cool doing so.
Yeah, yeah, those are my
And like if
favorite.
you get the physical copies, yeah,
Yeah,
it's pretty
th-
cool.
those are my favorite when I get like if I go to a concert or a show and like the local band has like burned CDs for sale. Those are always my favorite.
So it's pretty cool. Or like they'll just randomly give them to you, and then you just listen to the CDs on the way back home from the show, and it's like cool.
Yeah, I think it's cool just because then like if like because like if you go to a show and there's like four local bands and if one of them has like a CD for sale, I'll grab it and I'll listen to it, and it's just take something to remember the show, and I think it's cool when bands do that. And then you mentioned the covers. You put out the covers as an EP just recently. How how did you go about choosing those songs as covers?
Oh, oh yeah, those are like just bands that I would like listen to, And then I was just like listening, and I was like, what if I, did a cover of this song or this track? How would it sound? How would I go about it? And the first cover, I believe, was Linkin Park, "Giving Up." And growing up, I was a big Linkin Park fan, or like a whole new metal fan kind of thing, like back in middle school. So like covering that song or that band was like pretty. I was like, oh, it's like so much like at stake, or it's kind of like a high, kind of like a high standard. I would like kind of see it as. And then the track "Giving Up," I was like, I'm gonna go for that long scream that Chester has after during that breakdown. So like, so I'm gonna try that, and that was like the first one I did, and I thought it was pretty cool. Then I was like, after that was the Green Day one, Holidays. So I did the same thing. Then after that, that was just I kind of had like a thing like two covers per like album. EP would be like at least one song. So then the Ramstein was the Dead to the Town EP. The second album was the Post Malone and Twisted cover. And the last one, I think I only did like one cover for that last album, which was the AFI.
Yeah,
And
that one's
yeah.
really cool. Oh, I sent you a question, but would you ever do a country music cover?
uh, it's possible. It's possible. Like, maybe part two. Who knows? No.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I don't think I haven't heard any like black metal renditions of any like country songs, so that's the reason I was wondering. But kind of just talking about like, or we can talk about just the current like black metal. I'd say probably the last 5 years I've noticed like a big like emergence of like indigenous black metal projects. But do you follow that? And if you do, what are your thoughts on the current indigenous black metal?
Oh, see, there's actually quite a lot. I think I don't really like know the like the bands, but I remember coming across like a playlist. It might have been the same channel like where you found my band from. I think I remember hearing some of them from that channel, like just a playlist, because my brother was like, "Hey, you should check out all these like these indigenous bands." So eventually, like, I think he would like send me some like some like res bands, and I'll just check them out. But like pretty cool, to be honest. Like we're finally all like kind of coming out and about with our own unique styles and how our tribes are like being more, or how like their tribes are being like, incorporated into their music, especially within the black metal influence. And
Yeah, I think it's awesome, man. I think I'd say like yeah, I don't know. I know last year there was quite a few releases. I know there's quite a few in Canada too. A lot of like indigenous projects in Canada. I mean, I'm just like a listener, I don't play music, but I come across this stuff. I collect a lot of like CDs, tapes, and records every now and then,
yeah,
but I kind of just pick up on it on like social media. Like, well, I know the big one is Pan American Native Front, and there's he did a split with, I think you pronounce it like IISNAAHI from Canada, and there's one I've recently found. I'm not sure what tribe they're affiliated with, but I think it's pronounced Nichachuan. I
mm,
recently just came across them, but they're pretty cool. They're like really a lot of acoustic guitar, but I really enjoy that. What are some like black metal bands that you've been listening to, or any band that you've been listening to lately?
oh, lately, oh, let's see, but the last track of my album, there's a lot of Dark Fortress influence in that, like with the riffs and even the vocal style. I believe that one. Yeah, I was like, I was kind of stuck on Dark Fortress for quite a while. So I was like, well, I mean, like it would be pretty sick to like kind of do like a jerk kind of style, but not really like rip it off, but it was like a big influence. So that I kind of like the black metal that's like really, how would you say, upbeat kind of thing, like upbeat. I kind of really like, I'm really into like upbeat kind of music. Uh, I always go back to my old middle school, high school playlists. Like Children of Bodom, Trivium, Static X, Slipknot, uh, Bullet for Valentine, just like those kind of bands we kind of grew up with: Linkin Park, Rammstein, Power Man. I really like. I was really digging the Slaughter to Prevail. I think the latest album. Yeah, I really like got into that one as well.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I I've heard Slaughter to Prevail. I haven't picked up their new album yet. Kind of, I'm getting close to the end of my questions, but just kind of letting the listeners know what's the best way to find your music.
Best way to find my music would be on Apple, Spotify, or YouTube. The three, the big three. Yeah, and I have the Instagram page, official IISNAAHI, or IISNAAHI official, one of the other. And like in the link, I have like where it shows you, the link to the Apple, Spotify, YouTube, and I also have shirts if anybody's interested. So.
Nice. And any other shout outs or anyone you want to kind of just, thank before we finish?
Like my main shout out is to Johnny, JM3, for showing me the whole new path of a new world beyond creativity within the power of music or Black music. Being told that we can't do it with the way we can't make it with the music we were making then. So, just being shot down, but, and how it's evolving now and how it's becoming not mainstream, but, it's becoming big. So also, yeah, showing me how to, be a one-man band for the most part. And my elder brother, Jared Watchman, for influencing me on vocals. You can do it pretty much like a thing, that, and also having his late father, be a part of my record as the intros with his Winnebago songs. So I kind of thank him for that. Also, Colton McCabe and Jeremy Jackson for guitar influences, and also my mother, May, for helping me along the way with everything, and helping me with the Navajo language. So, yeah.
Awesome. All right. I think that's those are all my questions. I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording. Yeah, Matthias, for letting me talk with you about your project, IISNAAHI. Really cool and inspiring, especially with learning, the Navajo language. Speaking for myself, I'm not a fluent speaker. I do recognize, words and, phrases, but, I'm not 100% fluent. But, it definitely does inspire me to learn more and practice more. I think the Navajo tribe is lucky enough to have a lot of documentation on the language. There's textbooks, there's, videos, there's, the Star Wars movie with the Navajo audio. It's all there, and, I just, hope that, everyone can kind of look into the resources and, keep the Navajo language alive. So I'm going to go ahead and play some music that Matthias recommended that people should check out. I'm going to play 2 tracks. One is going to be the song Parasite, and I believe that was released as a standalone single. And then I'm going to finish off with the track IISNAAHI, which was released last year from the Reservation Kills album. So be sure to check out, IISNAAHI on the streaming services, follow on social media, and then if you want merch, definitely check out his merch site. I'll leave links to those sites in the description. All right, yeah.
was real, never denied.